So I was reading this feature in The Athletic by the homie Kalen Jones about Jay Boulware and his return to the University of Texas, where he graduated, where he was a starting offensive lineman. And I love the story that he chose to tell to top the feature, which was about how Boulware got Peter Gardere destroyed, just absolutely tattooed. He got the scouting report from about a Mississippi State defensive end named Jerome Brown, and it said 26 and retired. He had a full beard. Anyway, what had happened was Boulware sees a dude, and a dude is laughing, coming screaming off the edge. Boulware's just frozen and got Peter the Great just annihilated, got him destroyed, got him ear-holed. And he's, catching hell for that ever since, as well he should. But we get into why Boulware had to stop playing football, and it's a cardiac arrhythmia, so he had to medically retire, and that sucks. But he moves up in the coaching ranks over the next 25 years and ends up, out of all places, Oklahoma, where he wins Big 12 championship after Big 12 championship, college football playoff berth after college football playoff berth, and then earlier this year decides to take a job that is offered to him, the University of Texas, to come back home. One of the things that I took away from the end of that was his quote about, look, I want to help Texas get back to the Big 12 title, win a Big 12 title, and win a national championship. To which I'm going, yo, Jay, a fat person want to be skinny. A short person want to be tall. I don't think that's how that works down there, dog. I don't think that's how that works anywhere. I think what has to happen is you got to get past Oklahoma. That's what your goal ought to be at the University of Texas. Let's get past Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship game, right? First, let's get back to it, right? Let's not get sunned by Baylor. Let's not get beat by TCU. Let's not get beat by Iowa State, all right? Then let's get back to the Big 12 championship, see if we can go win one, right? Because for 5 years in a row, it's been nothing but Oklahoma. However, I appreciate the sentiment. I appreciate that you can't walk through the door at the University of Texas and say anything other than, I'm here to win titles. Even though they ain't won no title in like 10 years, 11 years, 12 years. Ooh, it's been a while, isn't it? We got to go all the way to Mack Brown. Mack Brown at North Carolina. Mack Brown had to stop at ESPN before he got to North Carolina. It's been that long. However, Jay Boulware thinks that he can come through there and help them get to where they're going. But Boulware, Jay, homie, you forget, you're one of a handful of new assistants on that. They're not adding you as a piece to get them over the top. They're adding you because Tom Herman had to blow up the entire staff. Okay? He had to fire almost everybody. Everybody had to go. You are coming in to fix what was broken. Because going from 10-4 to 8-5 is not a good look. Chris Ash, the defense coordinator, Mike Yurcich, supposed to be in there to tutor Sam Ehlinger. Herb Hand is chasing Jabril Cox, of all things, right? Your help comes in the form of special teams. I get that. But also, you still have the moniker of the guy who lost Jace McClellan at Oklahoma. Had Jace McClellan ended up going to Oklahoma, I don't see Jay Boulware going to Texas. I really think it's that simple. You hold on to the prize recruit in the 2020 class at the time for Oklahoma, just continuing as you were. Seth McGowan, Jace McClellan at Oklahoma as it is. Seth McCowan's at Oklahoma and Jace McClellan's at Alabama. And Jay Boulware is at Texas. Texas has a number of other things that it really has to figure out. One of them is really, can you absolutely trust Sam Ehlinger to develop into the passer that you need him to be? Because I believe that if you can do that, you have an opportunity here. Because Brendan Eagles is 6'6", Malcolm Epps 6'6", Jake Smith is a absolute star, ready to go. Bijan Robinson's coming in the summer, and he's going to be really good for your running back depth, along with Roshan Johnson. I'm not a really big Keontae Ingram fan, whatever, right? Kelvonte, I think, is going to be pretty good too. Boulware's basic thing right now that he needs to get figured out is exactly how much work there is to do at Texas. And you won't know that until they start playing spring football. They return a bunch of good pieces. Josiah, I think, is going to be great. Caden Stearns could be the best defensive back in this country if he is indeed healthy, but that's a big if. Anthony Cook got a lot of experience, and I think he's going to be pretty great. But it comes down to really assessing what you have and making this new system for both the offense and the defense work. And he, as the tight ends coach, special teams coordinator, He's going to have to find out a whole different way of doing things. He's going to have to take some things that he learned from Shane Beamer, who was brought in to help him. And that's the other thing about this whole Jay Boulware thing that kind of was interesting is if you're hiring Jay Boulware to be your special teams coordinator, you're also hiring a guy that Lincoln Riley had to get help with, right? He had to bring in Shane Beamer to help him get the special teams back to where it was supposed to be, because until then, we're talking about going back to the Alex Ross era before Oklahoma was actually doing what it needed to be in all three of its teams, right? Punt, return, kickoff. Look, it's more than just scheme and it's more than just players, although players is a big part of it. Some of it is coaching. I'm not certain that Jay Boulware is the guy to get you over the hump. I'm not even sure that I would look at him as the missing piece. But I'm glad he got to go home. I'm glad he gets a crack at it because, as he said in that piece with Kalen Jones, not everybody gets an opportunity to go back to Texas. And it took him years to get back there. I think it was a gamble for him because at the end of this year, if you finish 8-5 again, none of y'all going to have jobs. Oklahoma's not going to go 8-5 in 2020. And if they did, you're still probably not going to get fired. You know, Lincoln Riley might think about firing you. Took him a bunch to fire Mike Stoops, right? 1.5 years. But your job security at Texas is entirely dependent on what you do in 2020. And I don't know about you, but I would like more than a year to try to help turn the ship around. But perhaps if you're the University of Texas, you think Jay Boulware is the missing link. I don't think so. Chris Ash, I think, is going to help. I think Mike Yursich is going to help. But we'll all see, right? That's the point here. We will all see for ourselves, one, in the spring what this is about, and two, in the fall what this is about. But it's a nice sentiment from Jay Boulware. It's a nice sentiment. I just don't think it matters.